My name is Ashley Mertzok. I am a chemistry major pursuing pre-medical coursework at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. I learned about the Rural Immersion Institute of the North through the pre-health professional listserv at my school. I decided to apply to the program to learn more about life and healthcare in the rural communities of the 49th state. When I was accepted, I learned I would be going to Nome, Alaska, a coastal town located in the northwest tundra of the state. In Nome, I was assigned to Norton Sound Regional Hospital, where I shadowed physical and occupational therapists, nurses, and an acute care physician for 10 days. During that time, I learned about the challenges and rewards associated with providing health care in a rural community. While shadowing physical and occupational therapy professionals, I was able to experience how, with limited resources and personnel, the staff was still able to provide the best possible care to their patients. Through innovation and the use of telemedicine and even travel to rural communities, these healthcare professionals were able to provide therapy to each of their many patients throughout the region. While shadowing the staff of the acute care unit, I learned how patient-centered care drives the relationship between patients and providers in rural communities. Despite the prevalence and persistence of the all-too-common mental health and addiction cases present in the hospital, professionals always maintained a respectful and compassionate presence for each patient. The passion and energy portrayed by the professionals I shadowed was so inspiring and amazing that I myself felt like I had developed a passion for rural health care. Through my time in Nome, I was able to experience both rural life and health care on the Alaskan frontier. I have developed a passion for rural health care that I hope to one day be able to pursue in my medical career. I would like to thank everyone who made this extraordinary experience possible.
Alaska, land of glaciers and fireweed, grizzlies and whales, and don't forget mushroom-eating squirrels. I lived in Alaska when I was much younger, but unfortunately, my family moved back to Texas when I was 5, and so I don't remember much about it. I'd always wanted to come back, and now I have been able to with an increased appreciation for the state, its beauty, and geography. And as a medical student, I would explore how the supposed largest state provides healthcare to its spread out and culturally diverse population. After all, you can start your day in Alaska in the middle of a city and end on top of a mountain. And maybe you can reach your town by boat, but if not, you better have access to a plane. On top of all this, Alaska must work to provide health care to an often underserved native population that is spread out all throughout the state. During my time in Anchorage and Juneau, I was able to see how Alaska's biggest cities are set up to provide health care to not only their own cities, but also to the rural areas that surround them. On top of providing health care to locals, these cities also transport and receive ill patients who are not otherwise able to receive a high enough level of care in their local areas. And while this system is far from perfect, this hub-and-spoke transport system is a mainstay of medical care for many native rural Alaskans. And throughout learning about all this Alaskan native culture and healthcare, I reflected a lot on how it relates to my experiences in Texas. See, we also have funny moose-looking things. And we really love our fried foods. And we have some of the highest mountains in North America, right? However, on top of all these uncanny similarities, we also have a state with a few dense urban environments surrounded by vast amounts of underserved, culturally diverse rural areas. And while I never thought about it much beforehand, Texas handles medical care for their underserved rural areas in a similar way. Like Alaska, we often send public health professionals and nurses out to educate and serve rural areas, and triage and transport patients to more urban areas for a higher level of care for more serious illnesses. On top of this, the population that we deal with in Texas is much more like that of Alaska's than I previously thought. And my time with the Native Healthcare Consortium taught me how imperative it will be for me to recognize and respect the close-knit, family-oriented values and traditions of the Hispanic population that we serve, and also to incorporate them into the care that we provide. Through this, I hope to be able to build strong relationships with my patients, in whom fear and doubt in medical professionals is common, and hopefully tie our communities closer together. This is what I will most take away from my experience in Alaska, along with all of my new friends and beautiful memories.